any trouble? Just want to make sure you're all right.
You're actually in a lot of trouble.
I'm gonna go right to that top. So you better start believing.
Rachel House is a filmmaker, actor, writer, and beyond that has performed across stage and screen, centering humor, heart, and mana. The credits speak for themselves, friends and lovers. Whalerider, Boy, Hunt for the Wilderpeople, Moana, the Thor series, Heartbreak High. Now we come to The Mountain, her feature directorial debut, which is a colourful drama about 3 children discovering friendship through healing power and the spirit of adventure. Rachel, thank you so much and welcome to the For Your Reference podcast.
Kia ora, kari, friends and lovers, thank you. So I listen to your podcast all the time, so I feel like I know you guys. Anyway,
I will never not
but
thank
you're looking at me like I like I don't know you. But when you've got someone in your ears a lot,
yeah,
it's strange, isn't it? It's strange.
Well, we're in your ears and you're in my heart. How about that?
Babe. Oh,
we're just gonna love on each other. We're just
love. And thank you for your total call, your support.
Mm-hmm.
It was so wonderful to see both of you there that morning. And I just, oh my gosh, I love how OT's just like, OT, can we get a photo? And he's just like, no.
We're very opposite and I guess complementary.
No, but it made me, I wanted to sort of, carry that with me, that just that wonderful, like, just the no of it all. I'd like to do that more.
Yeah. Well, we're saying yes today, hopefully.
Oh no, yes. No, I don't know. I just love that he would not be swung at all costs to come.
And you see how like staunch I am. It's like it's always a tasty, spicy time with her.
Tasty, spicy, baby. I love it.
Well, I want to come to where we met you at the Australian premiere at the Sydney Film Festival for The Mountain. And you have directed stuff before, but in regards to a feature film, and also the acting coaching that you've done as well. Something that I really loved was the opening credits, because you have the usual sort of directed by, but yours was something along the lines of made by heaps of people, including Rachel House.
Yeah. It's funny because that's caused quite a, I didn't mean for it to be quite a sort of, I don't know, political, not political, well, maybe it is, I don't know. I just don't believe that a film can be made by one person. I think it's kaka, and I've never believed it. I mean, I've been working in this industry for years, and I just think we need to be clear about our contribution, and also the fact that you cannot make a film without a huge collaborative team. You've got to have someone steering the ship, but I just don't like that wording, a film by.
Yeah, but it's so interesting you say that, because I received it in the way that I think you intended it. And it's interesting to hear that it became such a bother, because I think at the end of the day, like even like it was so good hearing interviews, researching for this and talking about the actual premiere in Taranaki as well. We make these stories for our people, and that's where they should be. And that's how I took the title credit as well.
100%. It's made for the people by the people, though, So I feel really proud that we did it, because there was a bit of back and forth about it, and I just said, but that's not true. A film by one person. Go on,
It's very opposite of how we are and how we love and how we nurture, right? We all build, we all come up together, and it made a lot of sense to me anyway.
There you go. And that's all that matters, that it made sense to you.
Yeah. And it was so nice having that moment with you, before the actual film, before we even got to watch the film, But I need to tell you now that this is my favorite watch for 2024.
Oh, thank you. I saw your post about it, darling, and I got a little bit teary. It's so I was so keen on being on this podcast, to be honest,
Stop
because
it.
no, because I want to hear more of these perspectives.
Mhm,
You know what I'm talking about.
mhm,
I feel like we're inundated with particular people's opinions.
mhm,
And I'm what I love about your podcast is that I'm hearing the perspectives that I want to hear actually on
mhm.
our work, you know. So thank you for having us, and thank you for supporting us. It's meant the world. We're quite blown away so far with the reaction.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so we're really thrilled, really thrilled.
I do
Did
want
you
to
ask me
come.
a question?
I'm
And
trying
have
to,
I just
but
completely?
there's too much love in the room. That's what's going on. I do want to come to the performances and the themes, but
Yes, let's.
before I want to get to that, I just want to say that film is interesting, the lens is interesting.
Yeah,
Sometimes it can feel like, hey, we're doing an indigenous thing, hey, we're Maori, but this was so woven into, you know what I'm saying. If you know, you know. But it was so woven into the story of the mountain. Like it didn't feel like we needed to put on, it was just there.
yeah. Um, ask me the question again, darling. Sorry, I got lost in your beautiful kōrero. Ask me the question again.
Well, sometimes when we are on the screen, whether we're making it or not, the lens can feel like it's for outsiders, like it's not for us.
Oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, got it. Okay, so however, I do think it's important that that it's inclusive.
Hmm.
Like that's something I wanted to be. I didn't want to make a film either that was just for us,
Hmm.
because we're at a point now where well, not now, we've been at this point for a really long time where it's important to try and understand each other a
Hmm.
bit better, right? So I we got the script. I got the script given to me, and it was three little boys. There were no cultural specificities about any of them, and they wanted to conquer a mountain, and the mountain didn't have a name.
Hmm.
Tom, who has been in this industry a long time, I think he simply didn't name the mountain because he didn't want to have anybody, have to lock into a location. But for me to read that script, I was
Yeah.
like, well, where are we then? You know, where are we? I literally thought it was some another country. Um, and to me, that was the conversation that I wanted to open up,
Hmm.
you know, and because we all over the world, there
Hmm.
are those kōrero around mountains all over the
Yeah.
world, including here. I've, it's been really interesting. There's been some comment, about, oh, we don't understand here in Australia your Māori, concept of mountains. I was like, well, but it's all around you.
Yeah.
And it's not just it's an indigenous thing here.
Yeah, exactly.
Our mountains are revered and have beautiful story. And so, that's why it's so important to be in,
Absolutely. Hmm.
about these kōrero. If we just guard them for ourselves, then we ain't ever gonna move forward together.
Moving forward and healing, Rachel. There was a lot of
Moving forward and
healing
healing.
in the film. Um, Something that I really appreciated, because we talk about culture, but something that I really appreciated was, the aspects of kids can handle it. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
kids can handle like real shit and they also go through
Yeah.
it. So, we should trust them to be able to navigate that, whether it's identity, whether it's grief. And those are the sort of themes that we explore through the mountain.
Yeah. And I feel like I grew up around, films where those themes were really present, you know. And I mean, we're going 100 years back, girl. I feel like a lot of the films around now that are, you know, for young people and family films, they get a bit scared to go there. And yet, to me, some of those films that I grew up on and watched, like, you know, Storm Boy, Stand By Me, those sort of films, E.T. even, you know, they were very formative, and formative in just a simple sense of empathy building, you know. I'll never forget, I've been talking about this a few times over the last couple of days, but I'll never forget when Mr. Percival died in Storm Boy. I won't forget how much I cried and how much it hurt. But I also remember feeling kind of empowered by love or something after it. I don't know. I think it's important. And for goodness sake, our beautiful young kids are subject to some horrendous stuff that's going on in our world right now. And so we've got to be able to give them the tools to handle that. And sometimes that's in a fictitious world, you know?
Yeah. And even inside of the film, I don't even want to say which parents, but there are moments where you can see the parents are potentially failing them, or, you know, leaving the kids to fill in the gaps for themselves. And by not addressing it, that means the kids are going to be okay. It's like, actually, let's guide them through that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you've got a father who just sort of does not want to, you know, move forward or talk about it. And, you know, what's so interesting is that, you know, his partner who passed away had said, you know, I want you to move forward. And I think he's read that very differently, you know, just sort of literally moving somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also wanted the parents to go through. I know we don't see them very often, but I feel like there is enough of an arc as well within the parents' journey to be satisfying. Yeah.
I made a note of all the times I was getting emotional, and I had to stop counting.
That's
But
awesome.
it was so beautifully done. And I think that's what I love about film. It's not necessarily like shielding the experience, but it's like, this is what it is, and we need to work through it, no matter how hard it is.
Yeah, and I think with that, you know, I also didn't want it to be so heavy and
Yeah.
you know, it's super important. Also, because we're funny, you know, we're
Yeah.
funny people. You know, so I wanted it there to be, well, how life is. It can be very buoyant and uplifting and hilarious, but also really, really sad, you know. So it was important that we try and find that mix as well within the audience, that there was heart and emotion. But if there is heart and emotion presence, then there should always be joy, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the mixture of life, right? At the premiere, there was also Terrence and Ruben as well. And in just the short couple of years, they've sprouted up
Oh,
already. I want to talk a little bit about working with, you know, the main leads of the film.
yeah. You know, it's no secret, I think, you when you're looking for to cast kids, it's best to try and find kids who have those qualities that are very like the characters that you've created. And sometimes that can go both ways. Sometimes you'll cast a kid that you want the character to be more like, you know. But we cast far and wide. But these three kids really just you know, naturally and easily emerged as being the right people to play these characters. We have Terrence, who was raised in the world of Māori and Te Ao Māori, and is incredibly strong. He was so much like Bronco and caring and gentle and nurturing. I mean, that's the other thing that I really wanted to address is, you know, why don't we get to see nurturing boys? Why does that word nurture only belong to girls and women?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, when I completely reworked Bronco to be much more to be the Bronco he is today, the people that there was one kaumatua tohunga who I based it on, and his name is Rereata Mahika, Matua Rereata Mahika, and he would be, I guess, maybe in his 70s, maybe in his 80s. It's sort of hard to tell, but he is the embodiment of nurture and gentleness and mana, and he is a guardian of the earth, you know, and I want to celebrate that more with our male presenting boys and men. I don't understand this, why it is that women, sorry, I know you've asked a very short question.
That's okay. I'll go wherever you go.
A whole other tangent. But, you know, I'm so sick of seeing boys and men running around with guns and killing each other and explosions. And I'm so over it and being really angry. You know, what was really interesting is we had a person back home who was, you know, describing the film and describing the kids and what their kind of, you know, characteristics were. And he said of Bronco, tough guy, Bronco, you know, and it's like, he's not tough.
Yeah.
He's beautifully strong and gentle and proud. How is that tough? It felt a bit like, you know, because he came forward and you know, introduced himself in the way that we do. When we introduce ourselves, we pay tribute to a whole lot of things, you know. That ain't tough. That's proud. It's awesome, you know. Anyway, so back to
I think because it's hard to exist in this world as a young boy and not have that bravado, right? Even if he
that's
didn't,
the conditioning that we're
even if he didn't have it, people would project that on him, as if there isn't a way to love Mother Earth and to love our fellow family without
for our Tane to be, you know, looking after Earth. It's real, you know. I'm not making this up. Like, this is what our tohunga and kaumatua do, you know. And it's not just, of course, it's definitely women, but I wanted to show that there are men who do it too in our culture, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And I wish they were far more celebrated. But anyway, so that was my kind of whakaaro around the development of Bronco. Anyway, sorry, you didn't ask that.
No, that's okay. But I guess
and then you know, Ruben walked in the room. He'd just moved over from the UK. His family came back to Aotearoa to be locked down. Like, he was the last plane, I think, that came in before our country locked.
Oh, okay.
And so he'd left all his mates back in the UK. And so he kind of was that outsider fella. And he reminded me a lot of Mallory when he walked in the room. Mallory Potts. and likewise Elizabeth Atkinson, when she walked in the room, you know, she just had this extraordinary determination. And that was the quality that we were looking for the most in Sam. Yeah.
I think finding those voices are very important. And I guess just to round out what you were saying about casting Terrence, I think hopefully there are many of us that are blessed with men like that in our lives. It's not as if they're all going around being gross and yucky. I would hope that we would have some men like that in our lives. And that's also love again to you for putting that onto screen. You know, it's something that's so, it should be unspoken, but it's important to have that onto screen. And I love that you've put that in the film.
Thank you. Yeah, I love Mallory Potts and Bronco. Yeah, they're beautiful boys. And if people would it say, I don't think boys like that exist? I would argue, man. I would argue. Yeah, 'cause I think it's, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that comes to like one of the thoughts that I had coming to the end of watching The Mountain is like there's something very tangible but indescribable that we lose through childhood and also sometimes in culture, whether it's having to adapt to the world, whether it's being hardened by our own experiences. But there's something that is lost in there. And there's something so beautiful about living in the ethos of the mountain and in Taranaki and with these beautiful kids because we can get that again, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what I love about this genre of film, is it's remembering, it's remembering how that feels. I don't think it's any secret that I am still a big kid, and I'm not sure that's ever going to go away. But I think it's really important to try and make other people remember through the power of storytelling. How
Absolutely.
that feels, the magic, and just we've got this incredible world all around us. We can go for a walk. We can look at the minutiae of nature. What nature is providing for us, and you can feel the magic of wonder any day, any time, really, if you want it.
Well, I'm tapped in. Wherever you're going, I'm going, respectfully.
I feel like I've gone full like waffle mode with you, Cuddy. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I just love it. And you're also one of those people like at Bay of Fires as well. Like whenever I see you on the screen, I'm just happy to be there. But I am, unfortunately, I'll need to wrap up this love fest, but just know the love will live on. I'm gonna finish off for our reviews, we finish off with a recommendation. So what would you pair with The Mountain as a double feature?
The Mugai.
Loved it. Loved it. And can I just
terrible answer in regards to, but no, look, I haven't seen that many films at the Sydney Film Festival, but I am so glad I saw the Mugai. It was so amazing to see Shari in a lead role, but also just that an Indigenous horror, bring that on. Let's go.
And if I can quickly say, Shari did say in the Q&A, like, our young kids learn it. It's not like your non-Indigenous kids aren't young enough. We can all learn it and we can all heal together. But again, malo Alpito, on behalf of my staunch, beautiful, soft, grounded man, OT, Asante Sana. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you. Kia ora, kia ora.